Well, how's it going, everybody? It is Saturday, January 23rd. That's right. We're almost end of January here. And so today we have in the spotlight, we have a great guest today. And basically, if you're watching on the rewind, I really appreciate it. If you're here in the chat, really appreciate it. Go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Like I said, we just recently hit 1K and we're continuing to climb. So we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. And let me go ahead and cue this intro. All right, so here we go. Like I said, we got in the spotlight, guys. So let me ask you guys, do you enjoy fall TV? Can you name every character in the Marvel universe? Harry Potter? Can you talk anime with the best of them? Can you quote movies all day? Well, you just might be that pop culture junkie. And with movie theaters not a thing lately and product in the big box stores are pretty scarce, your money's got to be spent elsewhere. So where could that be, you say? Well, SMEYE World, because they offer nostalgia, fun, and they are an ode to younger dreams. They're playful and unique, but don't take my word for it. Instead, let SMEYE World be your guide. So, shall we start? All right, and let's bring on Jonathan. How's it going?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good. I appreciate it. Thank you once again for taking your time to be here today. So, Jonathan, did you have a good holiday? Good Christmas, New Year's?
Oh yeah, pretty low key with the pandemic and everything, but it all went smooth, so can't complain on that.
Did you get a chance to kind of relax a little bit, or have you kind of hit the ground running?
Yeah, we kind of, the last couple weeks of the year there, we had a pretty big October and November, so took a little time to try to not necessarily totally take time off, but at least take a little breather as far as, going full steam ahead we got a lot coming up this year, so took a little break there in late December.
Okay. Well, we're just going to say hi to the chat real quick. Like I said, I just like to kind of see who's in there. Ace, can you kind of pull that up for me real quick? Take a look here, Ace. Ace, where are you, Ace? Okay. Awesome. All right, let's take a look here. So we're going to go ahead and say hi to Burns, Horror Collector Fiend, Cheap 3 Pops. How's it going, guys? Hope you are doing well. Like I said, a lot of times people will come in on the rewind. We also have people that are coming in, like we got Sassy coming in right now. Those that are in the chat, just so you guys know, you will have an opportunity to win something today. So I will see who's active in the chat. So, so Jonathan, freshman year in high school, most are thinking about video games, junk food, music, opposite sex, but those things were not necessarily at the forefront of your mind. Instead, a vision of nostalgia, fun, and inside jokes were pretty much there. So, kind of take us through that journey, because like I said, that's quite a thing to be thinking about, and then turn that into something, because some people will do that. They'll be like, I have an idea, but then they don't follow through.
Well, that's kind of exactly what happened as far as the name is concerned. That's where the you know, it was a fictitious kind of company that I had created that never did come to fruition in early high school. And it was kind of more around being like a t-shirt company or something like that. So when we actually started a company here a few years back, I thought it would kind of be a funny thing to call it SMEYE World because of that fact. So it kind of went full circle in that regard, you know?
Okay. Well, and now some people I know will probably, if they're not very familiar, they're going to say SME World, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, do you get that a lot? Do you have it?
All the time, all the time. I mean, it is, you know, we maybe could have spelled it a little bit differently, but there's a little, you know, Easter egg in the, you know, personal meaning for me and the SMEYE. You know, at the time in freshman year, I was listening a lot to a rapper that I really like named Idea, that he spelled it EYE, you know, and so that's where the EYE kind of comes from. And it's, you know, SMEYE as in, you know, pronounced as I as an eyeball. But yeah, we get that a lot. And, but it's all good, you know? And I think too, because of the Disney character SME, so a lot of people have that correlation being, you know, fandom, that they kind of see it spelled like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things. It's like, okay, it's SME World, SMEYE World, you know, and it's like, you know, but once you hear people say it, you're like, oh, okay, it definitely makes sense. So let me ask you, I mean, you have My Geek Box, Loot Crate, Crate Joy, Zobi, you know, it seems like so many varieties out there, but maybe people aren't ready to commit to a subscription each month. What does SMEYE World do differently to offer the pop culture fan a rewarding experience?
For us, we're always trying to keep it, you know, a little bit left field, a little bit creative. And, you know, we do, whether it's customs or some of the designer toys or things that we're passionate about. But I think, you know, mainly what can separate us from other businesses, and not saying that some other businesses aren't collectors themselves, but we're knee-deep collectors ourselves. And so we tend to steer the company towards the same passions of what we're collecting.
Okay. So, I mean, and I'll get into a little bit of collecting with you a little bit later as well, because I know that, you know, you did start out collecting certain things. In mystery and suspense, you know, it can be an uncomfortable pleasure. And some may ask why people want to feel that. You know, it's like the thoughts conjure a process, emotions, like everything goes in there. That, like, why get a mystery box, right? Why get something where you don't know what's in there? But yet people love to get a mystery box. What factors go into your design of a mystery box when you're thinking about putting them together?
Well, I think the main two factors are, you know, with the mystery box, obviously you want some, you know, you can't obviously make super high highs and not having at least some lows, right? Or else you're just kind of giving it away. But for us, it's the challenge of making all the items have at least enough uniqueness amongst them that you're not using, you know, tons of duplicates, tons of things like that. So there is the mystery element, but also that maybe someone who doesn't get the top winning box is still very satisfied with what they've got. You know, there's a little bit of an art form of being able to still have a nice grail, but also putting, you know, those maybe lower end boxes still being very enjoyable, you know?
Well, a lot of people think, I mean, by getting a mystery box that I'm automatically going to get that top hit. I mean,
Exactly.
Sure, you know, it's like, okay, well, what, these companies can't put the top hits in every box. So I know there's a lot of that, you know, when you have to really understand a mystery box and understand the process behind it. Why do you think that people have that notion thinking that, you know, well, I didn't get anything good this time, should I not buy anything? It's like, it's hit or miss. And I mean, we all know that going in, but some people don't really seem to understand that.
Well, it's kind of too, you know, you can get a little bit ahead of yourself and your eyes can be bigger than your stomach type thing. And you have those really high hopes and you're crossing your fingers. And so when it, you know, comes in and it's not that, it can be a little bit disappointing. You're always hoping that, you know, you're the one who gets the best pop out of all of them. I do think that some people have higher expectations than they should, but I also think, you know, that's the part of the art of creating a good mystery too, is to, when that person doesn't get it, they go, oh yeah, but I like this one and I don't have that one, and the value is pretty good. So even though I didn't get that top hit, I did get something that I actually enjoy. So that's nice, you know, because you do have a lot of mysteries where it's hit or miss, but sometimes I feel that the misses can be a little bit unfair and a little bit over the top, where if you're spending, $40-$50 and then you're just getting a couple commons or something and saying, well, you didn't win, you just get these. I think that's also a poorly designed box. I mean, you can have some of those real high risk ones where it's very stated and that's just something. But for me personally, that's just not something I'm super into,
Well, I know for me, like, I know there's a lot of boxes out there that are really high priced. I'd rather spend the money on, try to put it towards some smaller end pops. But like I said, to each their own. I don't have the ability to just go drop $1,000 from time to time, even though, yeah, it's exciting. But I've always enjoyed, being able to have the opportunity to get boxes, whether they're like $15, $25. And you guys seem to have a good price point range where it varies. So you're not stuck on just saying, okay, well, it's $60, this is what we have every time. You do offer out boxes that kind of fits along the lines for everybody. So I know coming into this community, that's one of the things I heard so much was, SMEYE World's awesome. They do great boxes. And that's why I've always enjoyed, going after your boxes as well. So that reputation, I know you guys pride yourself on that, having that communication and being able to get that, that community to talk about you guys. Word of mouth advertising is important.
Yeah, totally. And that comes down again to being, a caring collector, looking out for like the community. We try to, cycle through values and stuff, but we always, often I know that we've done mysteries where it probably was a little bit over the top as far as for us, what was financially reasonable if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, but you always have the collector in mind. And, we always don't want to disappoint. We want people to, enjoy the hobby, enjoy shopping with us, and enjoy each other. So that's always on our minds. And we obviously hope that builds a nice reputation and is able to carry our business as well. But I think, if you come from a place in this community where you're more, whether it's customer forward or community forward, I don't know, that's just the way we like to do it,
Yeah. Now, usually in February and March, they have the toy fairs, and I know they're not doing that. So, Funko has decided to take it upon themselves to do their own fair. And I know that, you have taken part as some of these retailers and places coming in. How does that work? Like, I'm trying to figure out where some of the places to find some of these drops and stuff. Like, I'm really excited for the Godzilla. Do you guys get certain things that are saying, okay, like SMEYE World, you get to drop this, or do you have access to a lot of the stuff in the Funko?
As far as the fair goes, so usually with the London Toy Fair and the New York Toy Fair, those are where they're going to lay out almost, it's like the foundation of the whole year. They're going to lay this whole map out, and then as the year goes on, they're going to fill in more of those gaps where maybe more exclusives come out, the Funko Shop releases, and obviously still new commons and stuff. But it's kind of like the bedrock. The only thing that's been really tricky as far as what maybe other shops are getting and other shops aren't, are the sodas. The sodas have become much harder to get, and you also get only a certain amount of allotments depending on your volume of, say, like the specialty series. Like they had the Glow Naruto that came out, and we sold through ours just in like a couple minutes. But a lot of what Funko has been doing as well is you have to place some of these orders months in advance. So if you didn't, it's hard, it can be hard to gauge. Maybe you say, okay, I'm going to order 40 of these, and it just turns out it's got a lot of demand, or vice versa. You don't want to over order, so it's a little bit tricky. But as far as what's available at the Funko Fair right now, we're on a schedule that Funko is blitzing these things on a certain schedule. So I believe that, like, let's say Godzilla, that is at the end of next week, I believe. So
Okay.
they're giving us a schedule saying, hey, these are, and this is the first time they've done it like this. Usually there's no schedule. New York Toy Fair is usually all of these 2 weeks, or London Toy Fair is all of these 2 weeks crammed into one single day. It's every 15 minutes just popping off, pre-order after pre-order after pre-order, this long, like 12-hour day. And they have this huge thing, which I kind of like that firework feeling of that, and the stress of it and the intensity of it, and the whole community just kind of lighting up for one single day. But I think also the Funko Fair has been nice, for people to get a little bit of a breather if they're looking for, a set that came out this week and say a Godzilla or something that's coming out next week. It doesn't, break the bank and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's an interesting thing, and it was cool that they were able to put it together, considering that New York Toy Fair and London Toy Fair, because of the pandemic, are, not here or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of overwhelming with so many things coming out, and each day it's a different day. I do like the theme, how you can be like, okay, maybe I don't want to, I'm not an anime person. So, I don't have to worry about today, my wallet can stay safe today. But then you try to figure out, okay, oh my God, this is coming out and this is coming out. And like I said, being a big Godzilla fan, I know the trailer comes out tomorrow. I'm excited for that. But when you go to get stuff, I know one of the things that we've seen in the past with the San Diego Comic-Con and Funko, is like with bots. And it seems that bots have created their own economy. The secondary market has made it tough for collectors pretty much to secure an item at a reasonable price. From your company standpoint, how do you handle the fight against your bots, and your thoughts on maybe possibly future remedies?
Well, it definitely can be. There are certain situations, depending on how it's handled and what the item is and all that stuff. You can have, obviously, releases that are dominated by resellers, which is not good all around, even for value for collectors, because, yeah, it does a lot of different things. I mean, there is an ecosystem where a small amount of, bots, I just don't think are necessarily healthy, because even if they are resellers, they're cheating, right? They're using something to get in front of the line to acquire that, versus even if someone just bought that to resell it. I think there's some differences there. We always, we don't release a ton of items that are so, coveted that they're maybe being botted by thousands of people. But we have had some customs and some designer toys and some low count stuff that we have seen activity, and we search eBay's, and generally even we'll cancel your order if even if you're just reselling right from the get-go. So if we see that you've posted it on eBay or something like that, and we can pinpoint that this was the order, and you've already put it on eBay before you even have the item in your hand, we'll cancel the order. And with bots, you can look at timelines and stuff like that. You can look in the back system and see orders, and maybe see when that 3 or 4 orders have anomalies where they were clearly placed long before, like, the first human order or whatever. And there's different things like that. It's definitely a tug of war, and it always will be. And it's part of the, it's just part of the game. It is sad to see when certain companies allow bots to maybe frolic, or don't put things in place, or don't put some little tricks, or don't at least put up some defenses, because they can scoop up large amounts of stock. But I'm not exactly sure what the total solution is to the to all that. And it is a shame when someone really wants something, and then they have to turn around and pay triple for it the next day or something like that,
Yeah. It's just one of those things where you really want to hope that you're on it. And then if you're not, then you're like, okay, you got to make that decision. Do you wait for the price to come down, or do because a lot of times people they've gone and spend, 3-4 times that amount. And it is frustrating, because especially when you're getting it for $15, and then you turn around and you're spending $100 for it. And so it is frustrating. So the factors remain from pretty much starting a business can be pretty overwhelming. Okay. And sometimes flat out discouraging, but you have stuck with it, and you've continued to pave your road. What was a challenge that kind of forced you to maybe think that you might not overcome it, or kind of maybe put you at a roadblock when you were starting this business out?
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there were plenty of those, and I'd say even for, the first maybe year, a year and a half there, you know, the whole thing kind of felt like one big challenge in that regard. And I think some of what keeps you in there is, your drive and believing it's going to work, and your passion, and some of it too, once you start something, you when you start a business, or when you start anything that kind of has a long journey, I mean, think of it kind of like going up a mountain or something. Well, you can't, when you're halfway through the expedition, you can't just say, I don't want to do this anymore, right? You kind of get locked in, right? Let's say whether it's pre-orders, or commitments you've made, or, things you've built, and so, you take those stressful moments, and sometimes you say, man, I don't know if we're going to make it up this mountain, but we either have, we either got to march back, or we got to march forward. And so you say to yourself, well, let's keep marching forward. But as far as, precise, roadblocks, I'm not coming from owning other businesses or having a background in business. So some of the struggles of just learning some of the basics in that regard. And I think just getting over that initial hump of, you have to build up a lot of trust and relationships in being a small shop. People are rightfully hesitant when you're new, because there have been shops that are untrustable, or they're new and they don't follow through, or that, people get burned. And it's really nice. Like when you buy toys from these smaller shops, it very much is, I don't know how to describe it, but it is very supportive, right?
Right.
It is very supportive. And sometimes people, they wait for their pops longer so they can get a mint and protectors, but also because they can buy from companies like ours, which is really cool. And I think it keeps it part of the community. I think it's another thing that keeps the fun coming, that's a little bit cooler than maybe getting certain things from Hot Topic, or, some of these other places where maybe you get your exclusives there, but it's nice to come out and do some stuff with the small shops. But that being said, I understand why you go, well, I don't know who these guys are, I don't know this. And so constantly building that up, took some time, I think.
Okay. So I wanted to I want to let everybody know in the chat that's here. I am going to be doing a giveaway today. I actually have a SMEYE World mystery box that I have not opened, and I will be opening it, and we're going to be offering out the contents inside. The link is being dropped. Okay. The link is being dropped. If you have not subscribed to that video, please do. Leave the hashtag, make sure you give him a like, watch it for a little bit and subscribe. If you are already subscribed, then go ahead and just leave him a hashtag, and we'll go from there. So Jonathan, you say that you strive to be playful and unique, and you guys are constantly pushing limits. How does SMEYE World adjust or adapt to grow with all the culture, growth, and creativity that's out there?
That's another great question. I mean, I think that's a question that if you're in, whether it's whether it's a YouTube channel or whether it's a store, that we all need to ask ourselves to some degree of, how can I not only adapt but have something that's unique, that feels like my own identity, that doesn't feel like I'm, it's good to use, to look up to people and use the people that you like, whether you're, a musician or starting a shop or a YouTube channel, you have your kind of heroes or people that you look up to, and you can take some of those traits. What do you like about that store? What do you like about that YouTube channel? And kind of synthesize it. You don't want to replicate it, because then it's not yours. You take in that information and try to say, well, how can I put my spin on it? But really the only thing for me that I've found to not even necessarily be a sure thing, because I think sometimes it's also a bit worrying, because maybe my taste is different from the market's, right? If I have a vastly different taste than what almost everyone else does, you kind of have to hope that other people like the same things that you do to some degree. But I think for us, I just kind of go where what I'm passionate about, what I'm buying, what I like. If I'm starting to collect something, I say, well, can we get that? How can we do that? And bring my own taste and flavors, like with the prototypes. We've been doing a lot of prototypes recently. That took a long time to figure out a way that was actually going to be something that we could offer. And it's really not terribly financially viable, and maybe not the smartest decision, again, from this business standpoint, but it's something that I love to collect and something that I like and want to offer to the community. And so you're kind of hoping that by doing some of those things that people respond to that.
Okay. And that's is the thing. I mean, we all collect what we want, what we love. I mean, whether it's anime, horror, Disney, whatever the case may be, you should always enjoy things that you really, really love. But there's some creativity out there, and you're starting to see that through some of these companies like your originals, that you guys have, just kind of showcasing a little bit, of some of the stuff that's out there, in regards, and it's really cool. As we see, some of these, it's like, okay, where did this come from? Now if I wanted to create something, and I mean, is it simple for me to say, hey, Jonathan, I have an idea, can I bring it to you? Or, I mean, it seems like there's a little bit more complex process going on through there.
There is. And some of those things take time, and it depends, what you can kind of do as far as if you're making a toy. One way to at least start prototyping it, once you get the mold actually done, is you can do some resin cast mold. So that's where a lot of you're able to do the lower count runs. If you're doing something where you're going to vinyl or something like that, you're producing in the hundreds and hundreds of units. So that's another thing where there's a big risk there too. For us to, that one that you just showed was, here it is. I've got one right here. He doesn't have his swords with him, but this unit that if you just saw in the picture there, let me put it up. So this was the colorway is done by Clav. The unit is called an M9E, but I really like Clav as an artist. He's one of my favorite artists. And so to be able to work with him and do this, but this is our exclusive. So you have to, when you see a smaller company doing an exclusive, they're also financing that. They're financing that release. And there's a lot of risk involved because, the benefit to it is you have all the units, right? So of the units sold, the whole world has to come to you as far as if you have an exclusive to get that unit. You're not competing with 10 other stores, but at the same time, you're taking on the entire stock of that production, which if it's, let's say, doesn't sell as well as you liked it or hoped it, you can have some serious financial ramifications very quickly. As far as taking an idea, depending on what those ideas are, conception to realization or whatever it can, I mean, certain things it could take long periods of time, 6 months, year, whatever, to get certain things done, depending on. But I will say that we do live in a very exciting time. That if you feel like you really have a good idea on something and you feel like you really want to pursue it, whether it's making your own toys, starting your own business, starting your own channel, and you have a lot of drive and you have a little talent and you don't, give up, some of these things can come a little quicker than you might think as far as seeing your own creation being made and stuff,
Well, you have, like, Umpty says he's hoping to resin cast at least one of the ideas that he has. And I think, with the way 2020 has been, it's given people to be at home an opportunity to be creative and look at different outlets, because we are inside. In 2020 pretty much closed and opened doors for the collecting world. What lessons did your company learn and challenges that you face throughout the year that'll maybe help you prepare for this year?
I think the main thing that I just really took away was I had a renewed deep sense of appreciation for what we do and for the community, and the fact that when so many things went offline, and so many things that, you know, to not be able to go to a concert or to a movie or to a restaurant, or these little social freedoms that we have that were, you know, removed, but then to be able to turn inward and have this massive online community and have these toys that we deal with and enjoy. And it really reminded me kind of how special that all is. And I think, you know, one thing that we should always take away is, you know, just encourage each other and appreciate the community. You know, if someone's trying to make their own toy, if someone's trying to do this, or if shops are, you know, it's all important for us to kind of, we all make the community, right? And as collectors, without collectors, there is no community. But then within that community, you can start to do some really cool things. Like you see someone like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Abominable Toys. That's Chomp is the character. He was in one of those pictures there.
Yeah, let me see. Let's see here. Because I have a lot of stuff on here. So I'm just trying to scroll through what I have. Because I do have some Chomps for you. Let me go ahead and pull this down. Let's see. Where are you at, buddy? There we go.
Yeah, okay. So you see like that, Connor McConnell and Ben Sue own that together. Well, Ben Sue has worked for Pixar for like 10 years, but Connor, I think, is just turning like 21 this year. You know, and he was a collector who just loved toys. And he, I think, first 3D printed that in his robotics class in high school. And now Abominable Toys has been like a very successful company. He's linked up making toys with a guy who's worked for Pixar for 10 years. Like, that is really, really cool. And that's really special that that's able to happen, right? And that's only because there is a community around where people say, hey, that toy is really cool. I want to get one of those. I want to support that. You know, so that I feel like seeing that around during a pandemic especially was really, really special, in my opinion.
And they move quick. I mean, I know that's one of the things where when they drop, I mean, they drop really quick. A lot of people enjoy them. I've also seen some of the other things that come out, you know, like these rejects here.
Yeah, I can actually, we've got a new exclusive coming out Thursday, and I can show you. Give me a second here.
All right.
Of the rejects.
All right, we got an exclusive.
I've only shown them one time.
We got an exclusive, guys. Hold on. We got an exclusive. All right.
Pretty cool. So these are it's kind of, they look a little odd because I'm kind of in some blue light, but they are blue. These are the Frozen Tear rejects. They're only an edition of 75, and they are going to come out this Thursday. I showed them first at on the Whatnot, but you'll start seeing them pop up on our Instagram this coming Monday.
Okay.
So let's see. They're really kind of cool looking. You'll see the photos a little bit. The light reflecting off the screen is kind of giving them
and they're really cool. Yeah, I mean, they're cool looking just when you had that side, when you turn it off to the side.
Yeah, so you can see there. It's a little hard to move them with that mirrored feeling on the camera.
Nice.
But yeah, very cool. They're made by Martian Toys, and then Casey, she's a customizer and an artist, and these are her kind of characters and stuff. So you get a set of 2 in each set of rejects. This is the 5th and final colorway of Series 1. So there was Milk, Dark, Light, Inside Out, and then these Frozen Tear is the name of the
Frozen Tear, guys. So you guys heard it right here. All right.
Yeah, that's what's cool. You know, when you work on these things, like when you work on the M9E, you know, I'm talking directly with Claude. I'm talking with the artists. I'm talking with the toy producers. So there's a little bit more. Those were some customs that we did. My friend Rombitz. So we worked together, and you know, those were we worked together and kind of create this, you know, in-house customs and stuff. So that was the Reese's Tech 63 for the white chocolates were also our exclusive. So those were kind of given away as prizes, you know, and that's something we do. Like we didn't charge extra. We could have maybe sold those customs, but we had them as giveaways within the exclusive, because we want to make things fun. We want to invest in people having a good time and things being exciting. You know, collecting is supposed to have a thrill to it, right? And if the companies that aren't, if whether it's SMEYE World or Abominable Toys or Funko or Martian Toys or whoever, you know, it's up to people like us to create stuff that makes you feel, you know, fun. If you do the same thing over and over and over and over, as we've seen maybe with Funko, where they get a little bit like the 9th variant of something, and we say, okay, that's a little bit of enough. I've had enough of that flavor, you know.
Yeah.
Collecting is about having new flavors and about being excited, about looking forward to something. And so,
well, there's
we
a lot
try
of,
to.
well, that's what I love about like seeing your webpage. Like there's so much creativity and some of the cool things, you know, even like something like this with the siren, like, you know, just stuff that pops up, you know, in regards, you know, I was like, wow, like just look at how these people are coming up with this stuff and the creativity side. And like I said, I mean, it's putting your mind together and going out there and doing it. But it's like you said, in the community, people are like, oh, that's a cool piece. I like that, you know, and I want it.
Yeah. And to expose that, the mixture of all that, you know, it's cool when you see someone get something like that in their hands that like normally wouldn't, maybe normally wouldn't own that. You know what I mean? If it hadn't been for you saying, hey, check this out, and they're like, whoa, what is that? That is really cool. I want one of those.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. I'm glad that you like this, because I really like it too. And that's why we carry it, you know, and that connection is really fun.
Okay. So hey, King Bob. So King Bob came in. He said his phone's going nuts. So King Bob, we're actually we're gonna drop a link to your channel. We want people to go over there. We have basically a mystery box that we're gonna open from SMEYE World, and whoever wins is gonna have an opportunity at the contents inside the box. And so we're dropping hashtags, but we'd like for people to also subscribe as well. So we're doing that. So like I said, a lot of fun. We gave an opportunity, guys, to give something away. Basically, the way you have to kind of look at that is this right here. But for the most part, let me get back into, you know, asking you, like I said, some ideas are profitable and seem to be the right move, but are all of your ideas profit driven or some internal factors?
No, I would profit. I feel like, you know, one thing that I would stress to people, you know, that if your idea is starting a shop, profit is actually, I find extremely hard to find, as far as, you know, doing what you want and creating stuff and having things be profitable. And I have to constantly keep trying to tell myself that, you know, I need to be making at least X amount of decisions for profit, so we can keep the lights on and we can keep going and we can do the next adventure or can have the next exclusive. But I would say that most of my decisions are mainly led with my passion and just crossing my fingers that either A, we make something off of it, or B, we don't totally lose our shorts on it either, you know?
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean,
it's definitely not, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, in terms of like, there is no, you know, you know, you could maybe make a few $100 here and there, or a few thousand even, you know, some get, you know, some money quick type things here and there. But most of it, that doesn't exist within the independent shop world, in my opinion, if you're doing it right, you know.
well, I know for me, like I said, I work at a school. When everything went down, I took an opportunity for me and my boys to start a YouTube channel, and we met some amazing people in the community and have continued through. And it does open up some doors to do some things. And I've had some influences growing up as a kid, you know, comic books, you know, for me. In the last 5 years, has your influence in collecting changed? And if so, what's the influences that are changing those choices now?
Oh, 100%. I mean, 5 years, I definitely, you know, I guess my earliest memories were, you know, collecting some comics with my dad, and, you know, he was doing a lot of coin collecting, which I never, you know, personally got into, but I saw him collecting the coins, and, you know, the different variations and different years and stuff like that. But, you know, one of my first actually collections was, I was really into like craft beer stuff, you know, and I collected it just the same, where you trade online, and these really rare releases and bottles you know, keep sealed, and, you know, it's a whole different world than kind of like, and that kind of fizzled out. But really, you know, 6 years ago is when I first started with amiibos, and that's when I more started realizing how much I liked Nintendo. Was like what got me into really realizing that I like toys more than, because I like to collect. Man, you're spot on with those images. That's pretty cool. I like to collect, you know, figures over. I like to collect those over the games. I found, you know, I had been collecting some retro games and consoles, and I still had the GameCube and the Nintendo 64, and, you know, all the different things that I wanted to in that sector. But I really liked the figures more than I like saying having like a sealed copy of a Nintendo 64 game or something. So I went and got like all the amiibos, and that's where kind of like the Funko thing came in. But for me, you know, throughout my collecting, more and more has affirmed to me is I really like the fun and nostalgia and everything that's associated with it. But I also like three-dimensional toys, vinyl toys, over other, whether it's Pokemon cards. I don't collect them. I don't collect comics. I don't collect, you know, I collect toys. And so that kind of knowing that about your collecting, I don't know, there's something about furthering pursuit of that once you really know that's what you really enjoy.
Well, when it comes to like a lot of us collect Funko Pops, and obviously the sodas have taken over, and you have a lot of interesting things to collect as well. I mean, is there that one Funko Pop that you've always enjoyed in your collection, and that you, for the most part, you know, have had?
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, well, the very first, you know, set that I really started to go after, and is still one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite set, are the Ugly Doll Funko Pops. You know, because they have, yeah, that right there. They have 4 1/48s, which I think is just really cool. But I just love the look of them. I love the kind of dimensions of the pops, specifically because there's a lot of other Ugly Doll toys, which I have a few, but one of the cool things, if you're yeah, that's like a kaiju Ugly Doll kind of, that's really cool too. One thing, if you look at the setup, if you're a Funko collector and you look at the setup, it's the most unique Funko set there is, regardless of fandom. It has 4 1/48s, and then all the commons have glow chases, and then it also has 4 1/480s. So those 1/48s are chases, which they only did with, like, I think Robbie the Robot. There's only a few of those 1/48 chase variants, you know, and it has 4 and then 5 glow chases and 4 1/480s. So to have that all within one set, it is pretty darn cool. You know, normally now you get one glow chase in the entire set, not every single one. They did do the 3 TLCs just recently, you know, 3 TLCs, 3 of the clear chases, things like that. So they got that treatment. And way back in 2012, when they were 1/36 chases, not that high of production, so they're hard to find. But that's always was one. It took me about a year to do that. I always will remember that journey of getting them, and you know, I have never sold one since I acquired them, kind of thing.
Well, I know, like I said, I think for me, I came up with an idea that I would like, that I kind of put together. I think you should take some of these collections that you have, these interesting, like the Chomps, you know, and put them in kind of like their own little Smash world. And I kind of started a little bit on the poster for you. You know, so I came up with, you know, kind of looking at, like, I always thought it'd be kind of cool just to have that little tournament, you know, and just get, you know,
yeah, that's really cool, man.
You know,
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I enjoy that. I think that's cool. You have to send that over.
Yeah, that's because I just think that when you look at so many characters and like I mean, I remember as a kid just sitting there playing with Star Wars figures, but now like it's expanded. But some of these items, do we really, I mean, they're not really to play with, and you don't want your kids to play with them. But I mean, at the same time, you really want to appreciate them, especially for something, that you have, like, things like this, and you're just like, it sits on your shelf, but it's just something that you really, really appreciate. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you about was, I mean, people have mentioned, the ducks. Obviously, they're like, oh, I didn't get a duck, what's behind that? Like, where'd that come from?
Honestly, it was, we were doing our very first mystery box. This dates back all the way to our very first mystery box. And I just said, let's do something really fun. Our first earlier mystery boxes actually had some really fun little games. We put in little paragraphs where people had to get online on social media, on our Facebook, and link up and enter these giveaways. And it started to get to be, I put a lot of time initially in, because your sales aren't that high, that you got a lot of time on your hands to try to build the company. But it was something random and fun that I just thought, hey, let's just do this. Let's wrap them in this tissue paper, and we'll put one of these in there, and we'll just say, who doesn't love rubber duckies, And I don't know exactly. It has no, some people say, hey, what's the meaning behind the duck? What's this? There's absolutely no philosophy or anything other than just, this will be fun and funny and fun to do. And people loved it straight from the start. People started collecting their duckies and are always so excited, and say that they have a great time with it. And I think it's funny, and I think it's fun, and it's just a good time, and it's just another way that we can enjoy collecting. I understand now too, when people open them, they say, oh, I didn't get the ducky, but we try now to, I think initially on, we did maybe like anything that was worth more than the box or something like that. We did more kind of duckies than we do now, because, you want people to still think, well, I still could have gotten the second to top pop or something like that. And then be really special when they see the duck, that they really know that when they open that, they're going to be really happy with what they get and stuff.
Yeah. And I know it's always like, did we get the duck? It's like you're reaching on the side and you're feeling around. And you're like, okay, is the duck there? And so I know it brings a lot of enjoyment just watching a lot of the videos where people are fishing for it.
Yeah, you can see people when sometimes I've noticed their eyes, because they feel the duck and they're trying to like not show that they have it, but you see them go, they like kind of.
So when you collect, would you say there is more out there in the world than just GameStop, box stores? So now, how does your accessibility to collecting influence your business decisions? I mean, as you can see, like some of the stuff that's on your website, you obviously can't get at a Walmart. So
yeah, totally. But it's also, yeah, it's definitely, it's niche on both sides though, right? I mean, with a lot of this stuff, I do believe that some of the art toys and designer toys and stuff are getting a little bit more exposure from, I believe, even shops like ours. And I can showcase it and say, hey, check out what I found. This is a really cool artist from South Korea or Connecticut or wherever, and they've done this. But even though you can't get it at Walmart, and there's a little bit of I don't know, exclusivity there, where, wow, this is only found a few places in the world, even, let's say, and we're one of them. It's also much more niche on the consumer side though, licenses and what we know, and whether it's, Disney, Batman, Stranger Things, those type of things have a much, there's not going to be as much nostalgia sometimes with some of these products that you're talking about, right? And so even though they're kind of exclusive, it's still a very small market. Yeah, so that's like the Tech 63 and the M9E, and I love a lot of this stuff and I want to expose it and I hope it does well. But there's definitely things where, um, you know, as limited of amount of units it might be or things like this, it still feels like a risk.
Well, I mean, and sometimes, that's what we got to do, right? When we're starting companies, I mean, we just got to continue and just hope that it does catch. I mean, I think there's some great stuff, and I know I would love to see it, take off, because I'm tired of going into Walmart and seeing the same thing on the shelf all the time. I love it when there's variety. I love when there's something new, and I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
people, they want to spend. So with Funko bringing many Pokemon items and showcasing them pretty well lately, and you being a Nintendo fan, do you feel the voice from fans will start to impact a relationship with Funko and Nintendo, or is this going to be pretty much just a pipe dream of not really getting, what we really, really want? I mean, I know.
Well, I think there's that's an interesting question, and man, I mean, I'm above all people would love to see Nintendo and Funko have a collaboration. I do think some of it. Who is the company that makes the world of Nintendo? Why are they not coming to mind? Some of it has to do with maybe some pre-signed contracts of licensing toys in the U.S. and who Nintendo made some agreements with that maybe they can't quite squeeze out of. Or licenses are very weird, but I will say, and maybe Nintendo just doesn't want to, let Funko have it. But I do think Pokemon is in one step in the right direction, and I definitely think that you should always voice your opinion when it comes to licenses. And I do think that Funko listens, and I would encourage you to just voice your opinion. Don't spam support at Funko every single day, but every 2 or 3 months, write a paragraph of what you feel like you enjoy about collecting Funko and what you don't, and what license you would like to see, or if you want more limited items, if you want more rare items, or if you want more glow in the dark items, or if you want things like that. They do, have their antennas open, and they're maybe not going to come to your beck and call, but when stuff happens in droves, I mean, and whether it's Nintendo or anything like this, I've learned time and time again that a large number of people doing the same thing at the same time or wanting the same thing. I mean, you can move mountains. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't discourage yourself from at least putting your voice in the hat. And you can always email support@funko.com with any of that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, because I definitely think that it's a line that a lot of people are anticipating and wanting. And I mean, like you said, to see the same thing over and over. I know, like recently we had the metallic Twinkie, but I've never bought a metallic Twinkie in a store. So, I mean, for me, it doesn't make as much sense. I mean, if you're an ad icon, maybe it's something you want. But I don't want to keep, like, I don't want the gold chrome Hulk. I want a variety. I want some different stuff. I want some different pops coming through.
Yeah, totally.
So I know that some of your stuff that you have stuff that's limited. Okay, so it says pieces are limited, the chomps. If you know that from past sales that a lot of that stuff's going to sell and you are going to go through it, why do you limit pieces? Like what's behind that?
Oh, limiting pieces is just, I mean, it's just another way for, whether it's bots or whether it's resellers or whether it's people, you know, if there is only so many slices of the pie and you feel like those pie, like, and we might change those limits afterwards, but it's basically like, hey, let's get everyone a plate of food before you have seconds. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that everyone at least gets a unit, or that one guy doesn't buy up 20 units and sells them all to the 19 guys behind him for more money, and different things like that. So it's just to try to, be fair and nice and everything like that.
Okay. Now I know social media, like I said, in 2020, we've done a lot of social media. It's used by customers to post reviews, but it opens up your business to leave comments and basically let them know, like, I mean, you're listening, and expand your online presence. Is communication a cornerstone, and even basically more so over the last year? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm always huge on communication, and it is hard sometimes because we're a very small company in terms of people wise. And if we have days where it's very high on emails, messages, this, that, and then you're trying to pack and ship and align and do all this stuff. But to me, I always think that communication is very important, especially in this community, and especially when you're a shop like us and communicating to collectors that have pre-orders, answering questions, making people also feel included. You know, you have to have a door to let people ask questions and get some answers for various different reasons. And you know, I definitely think that communication is a very big part of everything.
Well, I think it's a really important when you're trying to get through. Like, for example, I reached out to a company. I had an issue getting on their website. They kept kicking me out. I was trying to order something on a drop, but they actually responded to me and they were able to send me an invoice and send me out the product. And I thought that was great communication. You know what I mean? It's like your company had an issue with the website, but you were able to respond with that. And I think it's a stamp in 2020, like I said, to reach out, because a lot of times we're like, well, where's my package? I got pre-orders, like all this stuff that's coming through. So, you know, definitely, yes, communication is.
Yeah, we try to answer each and every message, and we make a very big point of it to check things. And then, and I'm not going to lie, you know, on certain busy days or certain things like that, there are a few that fall through the cracks, and then the next things are coming. And, you know, someone says, hey, man, I tried to message you 3 times. Are you kind of ignoring me? And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know. For me, I'm a little bit more rapid and tentative to social media. I know a lot of people use email, and I do try to do that. But as far as my ability to manage multiple messages coming in at one time, I find that I'm a little bit easier to get a hold of in social media in that rapid response. But I do think it's very important. And I think it builds that, you know, just like you're talking about, the affinity that you have for that company being able to come through for you and make you feel like, hey, yeah, we hear you and we can fix that problem. And no doubt, thank you for buying that product, and I can create an invoice and we'll get it over to you. And, you know, it's cool. Like, you know, sometimes developing relationships with customers and stuff, I think certain people maybe shy away from it because it can be, maybe they think it's time consuming or this or that, and have these maybe potential kind of what they perceive as downsides. But to me, it really enriches the whole experience, right? You know, you want to feel like, I know online can feel sometimes a little bit more separate than like your local town, you know, hardware store that's been there for 50 years, and you know that guy and you bought the hammer from him and the nail from him, and you see him or his kids or, you know, different things like that. But, you know, that's the kind of flavor that we want to create, where you feel like, you know, I know who I'm purchasing kind of from, and I like that I have this relationship with them. And when I buy from them, that I feel good about supporting them as well. And that's where communication comes in really, really big on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I've seen companies behind on pre-orders, and as a customer, it seems frustrating to say, get a Mare Chase, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas Mare Chase months later when you see others already opening it. You guys seem to have a pretty good handle with the pre-orders. I know are some companies out there that are struggling. How do you go about that pre-order business?
Well, it is really difficult, you know, and the thing is there's just a multitude of reasons that can happen. And sometimes, let's say that you take some really good businesses, like let's say you take a SMEYE World and another, you know, one of our size that, you know, I would say there's no difference in caring about the customer, and they might get, you know, shop A might get sets 1, 2, 3 in before shop B, but shop B gets in sets 4 and 5 in, you know. And so if you happen to order from certain places, sometimes it's just Funko's wholesale. It can be very weird, or there's delays on certain things, or certain things coming crushed. But then you also mix in people who are, they're not ordering their products on time from Funko. They're not paying their invoices on time, or they're struggling, or they're cheating, or they're doing things that are, you know, they're not doing the proper things that are causing potential mass delays, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have certain things too where it's like, oh, certain sets will kill me. I mean, Masters of the Universe, the very first set, that came back from the licenses, when how they kind of had the hiccup in the license. What was that, last year when they relaunched Masters of the Universe? They've done a couple since then. That set was like a nightmare for us. Funko had like forgot to maybe put in one or two, and I was trying to order them from other places, and this is a common basic set that should have gone out months in advance, or other stores had theirs out months before ours did. It just happened to be one of these sets. But I do think, with shops like ours and stuff, we do create an environment where, yes, you're right, most things are going out as soon as we get them. We're fighting to get dates. We're trying to get you the product as fast as we can in the best condition that we can. And if we do that so many times, and then I say, hey, Eric, there's Master Universe, it's going to be like 2 months, man. Like, I don't know what's going on, but you're going to trust me at least and go, well, I know it's 2 months because it's something that I can't control, right? I think the frustration is when you get no communication, first, second, third time ordering from the shop, everyone else has theirs, you feel frustrated and you don't feel you're being heard, and rightfully so, so it's difficult though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, but at the same time, when you do pre-orders, they're coming, and sometimes you're like, hey, look, I don't have to go out and try to hunt it down. I know it's coming. You just got to be patient, and sometimes it's hard to be patient. So I purchased a mystery box, and I believe it was from the kitchen sink mystery not too long ago, where
cool.
They sell out pretty quick. So basically what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to open it up and just reveal the pops and kind of go from there. And, and then we're going to go to the link that we posted, and then we're going to give an opportunity for someone to win and go, so exciting for that. So let's see here. All right. So the first pop, and like I said, and I think it was like, I didn't spend a whole lot. I think it was like $20 or something like that. So it's like, it wasn't that's why I jumped on it. All right. So we got Marvel Zombie Deadpool. Cool looking pop.
Yeah, that was a cool line.
I'm excited for the new ones coming out as well. All the Marvel zombies that are coming up. That I love that line. So
yeah, I saw the second wave. There was one I really liked in there. I'm trying to think now. I'll have to look it up. But I thought, man, that one's really cool.
Well, and like Gambit looks really good. I'm wondering why they haven't done the Spider-Man or the Iron Man yet, but I'm sure
it depends. I mean, some of that stuff too, it's weird. There's contractual, and licenses can get really complicated and deep, and it might not be something that they even have any choice over, or that they want them to come out later on, or you never know.
And next pop, guys, we have is we got a Chase.
Oh, nice!
Look at that. We got a Chase, guys. Constance from the Haunted Mansion. There you go. So you got two pops right there. Definitely, obviously, I pulled value, and I don't have, the Haunted Mansion Chase. Marvel Zombie Deadpool. I got two boys, so anytime we have extras, they always, go to them anyway, so it's not a problem. So we have an opportunity, guys, for somebody to win. So what we're going to do is, Jonathan, I'm going to pull up a link to that video, and we're going to do a random comment picker, and then whoever pulls up, they're the ones that are going to get an opportunity to win. And while I'm doing that real quick, anything on the horizon, obviously we just started, January is almost over. We're heading into that, start of February, Valentine's and stuff. Anything coming up?
We have so those rejects I was showing, and then we also have another designer toy exclusive that will be kind of Valentine's Day themed, and then we have a couple really cool. There's a couple really cool other releases as far as that I'm really excited about, as far as some of that, designer toys and the art toys and stuff. So if you're kind of into some of the stuff that you saw that Eric was showing, there's going to be some really cool stuff that I'm super excited about. And I think we have at least 3 exclusives that will be coming in a matter of like, a month total or something like that, maybe a month and a half. But next week will be the rejects, and then the week after that there'll also be something, or a couple weeks after that. It's somewhere in between, like, Valentine's Day and the 1st of February. In there somewhere we have another exclusive release. If you guys were always on, we do Sunday nights is generally when we do our drops. So we'll have, I think, a mystery, a drop, and some protos added this coming Sunday, SMEYEworld.com. And then every Thursday night at 8, I hang out in the Whatnot app and do some auctions there. So that's a good chance to get to interact and hang out. And just, even if you don't want to pick anything up, you can always come say what's up and come say hi. And, I try to read the chat and, just hang out with everybody and have a good time.
Now that, since I'm still pulling this up, just to go off of that, how have you been enjoying the Whatnot app? I mean, that's obviously, it's been taken off really well. How do you feel with that Whatnot and getting on there? Have you done any auctions where you feel?
I do an auction every Thursday at 8, and I honestly really like it. I like that it's stuff for me. I'm the same way, I'm a collector, right? So I'm attracted to things that are new and that feel fresh and that have kind of a connection. And I like the dynamic that it's added a little bit, in the sense where for years in this business, I communicated with so many people online, but there wasn't really too much real-time stuff outside of like what me and you are doing right now. I do a YouTube here and there or certain things like that, but just to get a chance to be able to be with people in real time and interact with them. And then the auctions, obviously adding a little bit of a new dynamic versus just pricing some stuff out. I like it as an added flavor for me personally. And I've had a good time, but I also like the ability with the site and stuff like that, where we can do, a little bit more structure in what we're going to bring and how we're going to me, I kind of see of like what we do with some of the events and certain things on the site more as like a well-edited, like, performance of, let's say pre-written material kind of, and the Whatnot is kind of more like, hey, it's open mic night and let's just see what kind of happens and have some fun. You know what I mean?
Well, you also have that Jones effect, because you see like somebody grabs something and you're like, oh, I want that. Like, and then it's the next thing, they're trying to bid and you're getting that back and forth. So I know it's really important. When I go in there, sometimes I'd say, okay, not today. But a lot of times when I do go in there, I always find myself trying to bid and I waited out to the last second. And then, it's like, oh, somebody keeps bidding. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the rush. I enjoy going in there and just seeing the interaction. The music. It's really cool.
Yeah, just having a good time. And yeah, there is a different dynamic. I know that we have customers that they just simply don't want to shop on the bid. And then we have people where they say, oh, I'll say, oh, it's on the site. And they'll say, well, maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get it, if you put it in the auction. Maybe I'll get it if you put it in the auction, because they only want to get it that way,
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people, I mean, they love it. I mean, they're like, I can't wait. And say, if they want to pay it, they have the money to bid or whatever, so be it, Let's see here. All right, so this is actually the first time, Jonathan, that I've actually done one of these on my channel. So I've seen it before. So like I said, we're going to put in the hashtag for King Bob. And then we're going to put in here, filter comments based on a specific text. So we're going to do hashtag, and I believe we did SMEYE. We'll check what was put in there. And then from there, we'll filter, let's see, duplicate users, includes reply to comments, add extra entries. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it there. So guys, like I said, this is going to be what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to probably pull up. You guys have been really good hanging out, and so I do have the zombie Deadpool. So if that's something you guys do want, we have 2 pops to give away. So the first person will get that choice. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's see. Start the down here, and we're going to go ahead and start. Where is it at? Where does it come through? All right. Is that it? Okay. Always looks so simple when everybody else has done it. Okay. I'm trying to do. Okay. Here we go. Right. Why isn't that? Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why. It should be enter the YouTube video in the text field, right? Maybe I'll see it here. All right. So YouTube contest options. We got SMEYE World. We don't want to get the YouTube contents or comments, right? So this is in here. Let me see real quick. So if anybody's done one of these before, Mama J, basically, so what it says, did you pull a green Googie yet, Mama J? I just, like I said, this is the first time I've done one of these.
You have to click get comment, someone's saying. So I think maybe you do have to get YouTube comments.
Okay. We'll do that then. Okay, so it's going to pull it in. That's what it's done.
Amount of comments, 15. And then maybe now you start the...
There we go. Okay. That makes sense now. All right. So now we'll go from there and hit start and see if that comes through.
There you go.
All right. So Eric Fry, he says, hello from @boys, #SMEYE. Okay. So Eric Fry, you're our first winner. And then we'll go ahead and do one more here. I don't know why why is he coming up again? That doesn't make sense. So we'll do that. And Kelly Zufelt. All right. So Kelly and Eric Fry, you guys will be our 2 winners. And then so I like to kind of keep things, going. This is the first time I've done this, so I really appreciate it. So Eric Fry and Kelly, congrats. You guys can reach out to me. Kelly, I actually have something coming your way anyways. Jonathan, I really appreciate you taking the time and being here today and just kind of going over some questions and giving some more insight to, what's going on with you. I hope that 2021 is absolutely a year for us to really be like prosperous and just, having that turn the corner, and I know I enjoy getting some mystery boxes. I know I enjoy going out and the hunt and everything, but I wanted to get back to some normalcy. But I think it's great that the door that has opened, and best of luck the rest of the way with you. And if anybody has any questions, feel free.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer some questions. And yeah, man, you did a great job. I think having the questions that you asked and stuff, it was no sweat off my back to be here. So thanks for having me.
Well, and I try to take the time, and if I'm bringing on a guest, I want to have that research. I want to make it feel like, I'm not going to scramble. Like I said, there's a few things when I load them on here, like different stuff on here, but I try to make sure that when they do come on, it's something that's going to be enjoyable. That's what I said.
I definitely felt that. And I think that's important. I think if you're going to have guests on and stuff, my recommendation would be as a YouTuber is like, have those questions that you had where, they're interesting questions that have a lot to unpack, because sometimes it is hard. Someone will ask me to come on and I'll come on, but then not really have, any pre-existing questions. And then it can be kind of tough of, where is this conversation going and what kind of information do you want out of me? And so it was nice to have all those, and those clever little images that you're able to put up on the fly was really cool too.
Well, I appreciate that a great deal. And just seeing if one more time, if anybody, Funko Brothers, I never win. So Kelly Kelly says, thank you for all you do in the pop community.
Thank you, Kelly.
But yeah, we definitely appreciate it. We look forward to future mystery boxes. And like I said, you guys, you can reach out on Instagram, check out the website. There's a lot out there. And once again on Whatnot. So, you cannot miss SMEYE World. So make sure you guys go hang out. It's a lot of fun. And once again, Jonathan, thank you so much. Oh, wait, hold on real quick. This popped up, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, I know. I just was gonna comment in the. What did he say there?
So someone in Discord got a package from you and said, I guess SMEYE is on the list of good places to do pre-orders. We were like, just now? So, yeah, like I said, nothing but good things. And I think that's a great thing for a company, because when you do buy stuff and you have like, I still haven't gotten it, or it comes damaged, or, you can't reach and get a hold of them. I think it goes a long ways to have that communication and to stand up behind your product. And,
Yeah.
Jonathan, you absolutely do that. So we appreciate that. House with 1,000 Pops, how are you? Sleeping Collectibles. Like I said, we're wrapping it up. We just, like I said, we have this that we just gave away. Eric Fry will get that. And Zombie Deadpool goes to Kelly. So once again, we appreciate it. And, enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, guys. So once again, this is SMEYE World, Jonathan, and we are going to go ahead and say goodbye. So we hope everybody has a great day. And this is Eric, and I appreciate you guys being here. You are in the spotlight. Next week, guys, we have Doc Brass coming on, and he's going to be playing some music. We're going to be sitting down doing some interview with him. Great guy. You're going to want to check him out. All right, Jonathan, SMEYE World.